Preview. Preview.
Hey everybody, this is Perch, and some new comic news, or at least some series, some things to kind of watch out for and look for. If you remember, this is quite some time ago. Well, it feels like that anyway, a couple months or 5,000 videos before. I mentioned Moon Girl and this title that Marvel had actually quite a bit of success with in Scholastic and in that kind of corner of the world, and how it was a successful kind of ambassador comic to kids. Did very poorly in the direct market where older people are in the store, but it was one of their successes. It kind of feels like something that maybe the company didn't fully recognize as a success because they were used to getting money in one location and they missed it in another. So Moon Girl is coming out on Disney Plus. There will be a cartoon out shortly, which is again probably a good match for that character. It's going to appeal to the audience it wants to appeal to, provided, of course, the writing isn't weird and awkward and everything else. But they are doing another Moon Girl title, and it's basically they're going to be doing a number of one-shots, which I think is a bad idea. But let's go into it, and I can kind of explain why. So again, a while ago, I mentioned that a good idea for Moon Girl to kind of get the kid audience was to have her team up basically with other characters in the Marvel Universe. And the idea there would be you get to see kind of eyes through the kid, see this other parts of the Marvel Universe, good way to introduce to, new readers, younger readers, what's going on. And so Marvel is sort of doing that. We are getting a number of one-shots with Moon Girl basically meeting characters. And the first one will be Miles Morales. And they will ultimately have a new Moon Girl ongoing comic. But this first issue is going to be by Mohal Mishago and artist E. Guerrara. And they are, it starts with Moon Girl teaming up with Miles Morales. And there will be then more. And they don't mention more. This is coming out in June. The Disney Plus show, I think, is late in the year, as I recall. So in theory, you'll have a couple comics out, if they're doing this monthly, that is there. Now, here's where I think it's there. So there's a good part. They're doing some of the things I was recommending, and that's great. The bad part is that, again, a comic book one-shot sold through the direct market feels like they're kind of doing the same mistake they did before. I would take the opportunity, if I was Marvel, with this character, to do it Tonkabon-sized. I would push it at Target, Barnes & Noble, certainly Scholastic, and I would use this as an opportunity to create a manga-like comic, something that looks and feels a lot like the manga that's selling in those locations, but aimed at kids. So very Dogman, like even actually the Dogman format, smaller books, hardcover. I was telling somebody the other day, if you put Dogman up next to kind of the Tonkabon versions of the My Hero and Demon Slayer kind of Tonkabons that they sell, you'll be astounded to note they're the same size. It fits nicely on the shelf. I would do that. I would just forego bothering putting these issues out in a floppy version in the store. And the concept of a one-shot also doesn't mean anything to the audience they're probably chasing with this book. But anyway, there is a new Moon Girl. This will lead to an ongoing series. Again, I would just try and do this completely like Japan. That's what I would do. But if you like Moon Girl or you're interested, you got that coming your way. Then you have an announcement of AntMan. So this is where Marvel is celebrating the 60-year anniversary of AntMan. Now, maybe this will be like Luke Cage, where they announce it and then they put some artwork out and then they decide not to actually ship the book, which would be, certainly on brand. But the announcement promises kind of a look through the AntMan legacy, if you will. So we get the original, the irredeemable, the thief, and the future of the four versions of Ant-Man. Now we know you've got Hank Pym, we've got you've got Scott Lang, you've got Aaron O'Grady as the irredeemable Ant-Man, who I think is Black Ant now, and maybe a cyborg. Didn't Rick Remender kill him at one point? I think that's how it went. Anyway, this title is in theory starting in June, and they're an all-new Ant-Man saga, which probably means a 5-issue limited series, but something that's going to celebrate Ant-Man and create a new Ant-Man. So who will be the new Ant-Man? We've seen a new Giant Man. This one at least does suggest by the silhouette that it is a man, although I know, make your jokes here. But Ant-Man is a character, you have Ant-Man 3 Quantumania, so it makes sense that Marvel is trying to basically get back on that character and get some some energy and some momentum out. Ant-Man's been a title that Marvel keeps trying and kind of struggling with. It doesn't quite match the humor of the series. They also have that uncomfortable situation where the MCU version is just so different from the Marvel Comics version. They haven't really figured out what to do with Hank Pym. I think for that matter, Hank Pym is currently half Ultron at the moment, and so I think Scott Lang's been dead at least once. Aaron O'Grady, I think Remender in Secret Avengers made him a cyborg. Anyway, he's a robot, and I don't know who the future is, but it does make sense. It is definitely right in line with Marvel to basically say, hey, we want to celebrate the 60-year anniversary of Ant-Man, and we're going to do that by introducing a new Ant-Man and forgetting about the previous versions of Ant-Man. I'm not saying they're going to do that. It's just there is you do have to wonder just a little bit. Anyway, some other news: the Tom King, Greg Smallwood Human Target comic, which I'm enjoying. I think it definitely feels like we're going to head toward a bad place at some point. That bad place being that some DC editor is going to go and redraw all of Greg Smallwood's characters with different eyes. Maybe no. It feels like we're getting this deconstructed version of some of the heroes and not going to be as good as they say. I'm pretty confident Ice is the villain in this. It feels like Ice is the villain. I think it anyway. Maybe not. That feels like where it's headed. Anyway, this title, The Human Target, is going to have a 5-month hiatus. Now, Tom King has other stories in the mix. He's doing a few different things over at DC. He's got this additional Batman story that he's done. He's got Danger Street. Apparently, there's one more in the mix that he's on. Supergirl wrapped up. But the 5-month delay, we're not sure what that's from. Doesn't feel like Greg Smallwood is overwhelmed. I'm not sure. Maybe they're trying to capture the magic of what was done with Nice House on the Lake. But that wasn't intentional. So I'm not sure why we have a 5-month break, but we're getting one at any rate. So that is also coming your way. So the last piece of news, just to kind of throw out there, is in the world of the MCU, Charlie Cox, who played Daredevil in the Netflix series, he did a brief cameo as Matt Murdock, not Daredevil, in the Spider-Man No Way Home film. And Cox is basically saying there will be more, and that he knows something he can't say. He doesn't know too much, but he knows there will be something else. So he's at least teasing that there will be more. Now, the Kingpin showed up in Hawkeye, so there is a route at least for Charlie Cox, Daredevil, to show up. I think the general consensus was that Charlie Cox was a good Daredevil, better than the Ben Affleck Daredevil. But who was the actor who portrayed Daredevil in the Hulk TV show? There's somebody in there. I forgot. Anyway, Daredevil is going to arrive on Disney Plus, so they are bringing it from Netflix to Disney Plus, and it will be shown there. And it looks like the MCU is going to utilize him in bigger ways. Now, interestingly enough, he's been on a Netflix show and he's been in a Sony movie that was part of the MCU. We haven't seen him in a MCU film, if that makes any sense. We haven't seen that. But given that Vincent Kingpin showed up in Hawkeye, it does feel like it's only a matter of time. And it does, if Marvel is currently casting about for characters that they can turn into something, do something with, particularly with some of the bigger names exiting the MCU, then it feels like this is something he could do. Alternatively, maybe he's going to take over, since they're canceling the Wasp for her views on the Canadian trucker situation, or they're canceling Shuri for her views on the vaccine. And I think they're canceling Star-Lord for his views on what was it, Christianity? I don't know. Anyway, maybe Charlie Cox will be one of those characters. He could be the new Black Panther. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go down that route again. Anyway, he is going to have something else happen for him in the MCU. And so that's exciting. So he'll get some more money, some more work, and can't argue with that. Anyway, that's the brief bit of comic news that we have here today. Let me know what you're interested in, what you'll be getting, or at least looking forward to. And thanks for listening.